I am wanting to explore the concept of imaging tubes or imaging sausages or what it is that you will straws or whatever in the body, be it vessels or nerves or tendon tracts, and the responsible use of that slice thickness,
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
I I was last night playing with imaging the median nerve from mid forearm on my wife to carpal tunnel, trying to refine the fascicles of that, trying to follow it up, trying to. When we first met, or when we first did this, you referred to, while every other axis is dynamically moving, you're fixated on keeping one completely straight. Now, you said it in the fewest words that British can say, and it gets clear. But but, but there's the one plane that doesn't change as you follow up and follow down. That's tough, John, and that's an excellent exercise. And I'm going to tell you that I think that nerves are one of the tougher ones. It seems to me, because there are areas where I'm going, I know you don't make a 90-degree turn here, buddy, that kind of a thing. I
Yep.
think it would be valuable to me to watch just some of your dynamic scans sometime to
Yep.
evaluate how, I would love to see just how much rotation that you ever give, and how far you will go to. And the other brilliant thing that I took from our last session was that the bell curve concept. As I was walking, everything is that, be it anisotropy, it really is not taking it. It's not refining the image to the best it can be. I love this statement from you. It's refining the image to the worst and then back over the good to the worst. Not to the worst, not to the worst,
Yeah.
to degradation of some sort. As soon as you go degraded, well, guess what? You just pass through the best. And if that's the best, you better hang on for the ride, because,
And that's it. It's about it. And there's something I see in my students. They get a good picture and they lock up. You see that it's like a stroke patient. They go, I will not move.
while they're translating the probe, they lock up because they just passed through the good,
Yeah,
the best.
it gets better, and they think that's it. And I won't let them do that. I say, that's good. Stop for a second. Take a picture if you want. Doesn't matter. Go past it and come back. If your picture is actually a good picture, you'll find it again. That fear of losing it, they're on it and they stuck there. And you must have seen that with your trainees. They go, oh, no, I mustn't. No, it's you get to it, you travel past it, you come back. You travel past it, you come back. You change the angle slightly, you travel past it and come back. Breaks the stress in the arm and trains the motor skill.
I think that one of the things that hearing you say that, one of the things that we're dealing with is that we're passing a slice plane that's coming out of the probe, and we're passing that through the body, and even if we simply stayed exactly on the same plane, there is a point along a tendon where in fact you will refine it well.
Yeah.
But you're missing the point. Just because the tendon looks good there, and we can't slide it in the exact same plane. We have to follow that tendon,
Yeah.
around. And I don't know. You had talked about your head turning for this good-looking girl in some town. I forgot, Wikinesia or something like. I know the song, and all the thing goes
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It must be a British town, or I would have.
no, the girl from Ipanema, it's Brazilian.
Oh, is it? I didn't know where Ipanema was.
I'm not sure. I know. I think it's somewhere close to Rio. But
to
I
me,
will Google
what
that.
what I would love to find out is my mind wants to see that John's wags are
Yeah.
like this,
Yes.
while Greg's or others are like this, and that I would like to see what component of your refinement actually comes from trying to line up those slice widths like this.
Yeah.
That and I don't know how best to do that other than to say it would be nice for me. I think my eyes could see it if you were tracing the biceps tendon, because I could see how frequently it would go from degradation to degradation. And I wonder if my eyes would even know your eyes are seeing that it's getting degraded. And so you're bouncing from one side to the other, because our students are going to have to go to near black before they're going to see it degraded.
Well, that is one of the issues that I think we discussed about the baby's kidneys, about the fact that they don't see them, and you don't. The students don't see. They don't even see the
Yes.
movement on the screen.
Yes. You mean the neonate or the
Yeah.
what do you call it? Yeah.
The fetus, yes.
Yeah.
And that is just how that sadly is just how it is, and there's that level that they have to go through. Why am I not? I'm struggling. I'm just going to see if I can get something up on the system. Let me see. If I go back here, let me see.
Can't tell you how liberating it is, John, for me to hear a mentor of mine tell me, why are you trying to always aim that sucker to the right? Just do it so that you're actually understanding how you're moving it around, because I run out of CPU power when I'm trying to process mathematics, and it's going raw. So I don't know. It's one of those things. I don't know if you're seeing anything of what I'm seeing, John.
Yep, I've got the forearm. Frame rate's a little bit slow, but so you might want to switch off your facial, your camera.
Oh yeah.
If you turn off your.
How do I do that? Do I go up here and say stop video?
Yep, that's right. That might be a little bit better. We're losing a little bit, but it's not bad. So if you pop your cursor onto the middle of the screen. Yeah.
I'm trying to find median nerve in mid forearm.
Yeah.
And then taking it up to where. How come I'm having a hard time?
Yeah. Come more now. I know this is teaching you to suck eggs, but proximal is back towards the elbow.
Yes.
So if you head back to, when I get lost, I head back towards the elbow.
All right. Trying to find why I believe above the cursor.
Yep, that looks like it. This picture is jumping around.
Oh, I'm saddened because I was hoping that
it's not bad, but it's not.
I'm going to take the cursor up a little bit higher.
Yep.
I think I go a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it just gives us a reference point, so we can say
Right.
It's a little bit high. In fact, you put it slightly over to one side, so it's not exactly where you'd want to have what you're looking at. And then we can just use it as a reference.
My wife had better looking nerves last night than I have on myself here.
Yeah, well,
But
that's all right.
I think I'm below the cursor with the median. But this is exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Because
if you
to
move a little
me,
bit slowly, just as much for my benefit as for yours, just because it is. But yes, you can see it there, just below the cursor.
and right now, if I went to any type of wagging or toggling,
Yeah, you
and I
just
think it's right underneath, but what I don't know is I'm now rotating. You can see the fibers going oblique.
yeah.
How much of that rotation do you use, John, in your refinement, or is most of it just staying in plane best you can?
It's it affects the rotation does affect the quality of the image, but it tends to get better quite rapidly when you're absolutely right. So what I tend to do is I tend to just translate the probe,
Gotcha.
you know, and look to see whether what I've got is staying in the center of the picture. Because that's an easy way. If you're translating the probe in an axis
Yes.
and keeping the probe steady, then if what you are looking at moves on the screen, then then you are not in short axis.
And one of the key things is that you are, a person has to truly be identifying accurately where they are, or it's going to be I'm seeing that hypoechoic ovoid structure in the top of the screen as my median nerve, but I'm
Yeah,
trying to refine that.
I'm not getting that good. I'm not seeing a good enough picture to say that. If you come proximally, you
Okay.
come more proximal, right? Now now we've got the median nerve just under the tendon there. You've got the large tendon at the top of the screen, and
I
right
think
on it. You're right
I'm
on it.
right on it right now.
Yeah. So as you come up, so as you go distally, so start going back towards the wrist, the fingers. No, the other way.
I'm going to the wrist now.
Yeah, you're heading towards the wrist.
Distally.
Yeah. So it's coming up. You see how it's rising up on the screen. So you should have a
Yes.
slight tilt backwards with the probe.
Up, more like I'm wagging it toward my forearm.
Yeah. So if you look at the probe this way,
Yes.
as the nerve, you're moving it in this direction
Yes.
down
Yes.
your arm.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And if it's coming, if the tendon, if the nerve is rising up in the picture, it means it's angling that way. And so you roll back ever so slightly.
I gotcha. So
To
let me
compensate for that.
come up to here.
Now, your picture, when your picture goes dark as it is there, it means you are not pointing it the probe in the right direction. So the nerve should stay looking just as good. Yeah. So it's right there, and now it's starting to go down again slightly. So you need to tilt slightly in the other direction. So if you think about your aeroplane, your
Yes.
sort of nose slightly as it rises up on the screen, you need to nose up, and as it goes down on the screen, you need to nose down. Yeah. Yeah. And you see already in that picture, you're getting a much better picture of the nerve distally. Proximally now you're in the forearm again.
Yes.
And as you would, as soon as you started taking into account whether it was going up or down, your picture quality got better.
I'm going to try to go back up to the scary area where the turbulence is up near the wrist crease there, John.
Yeah. Yeah. Where you're getting a little bit of ground effect.
That's right.
Yeah. But even here, it looks like you're losing the angle of the probe a little bit.
Now, do you think that's from rotation? Because I'm wagging. I mean, I'm taking it all the way from one.
Yeah. Go slightly more slowly. You've got the probe like
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're just moving it along the nerve like this. And that's the only, there should be no wagging. It should just be a movement like that.
Okay.
And then you say to yourself, well, actually, it's going up and down on the screen. So you're going to change the angle by about that much.
Still not pushing much weight, right, John? I mean,
no weight at all. You can try pressing harder. Sometimes it makes a difference, but that's not the game we're playing at the moment.
Okay.
So you're going along like that and then back. And then you try a slightly different angle and you go along like that and back.
I'm going to come a little bit more shallow, and I'm going to stay a little bit more on the wrist.
Yeah.
I'm going to come down here.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So you got your tendon there. That's the flexor carpi ulnaris. Is it that one?
Radialis, I think, because we're over on the yeah.
So that's probably the nerve beside it.
Oops, I messed up the. There we go. Thank you for doing this, man. I know this is tedious watching somebody do this as it just jumps on your screen over there, and
that's all right. It's
so I think my cursor is on the very bottom of the median nerve right now. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep.
Now, would you say that that's refined reasonably well, or would you say you would want to have a person go?
I would want it to be in the middle of the screen.
Okay. Middle as in deep middle, or middle as in the center?
Center of the probe, yeah. Center of the probe.
This is where I start to lose it. I mean, up here I can see it as that classic, a little almost darker area around the flashing flexor tendons underneath it when I wag through it.
Yeah, so don't wag at all.
Don't wag.
Just get it absolutely still. Yeah.
Okay.
And then make really subtle movements to try and brighten up the tendons.
Brighten the tendons.
Yeah, come back to the wrist. You've just gone slightly more distal there. So that's a good point. Try and push the nerve to the middle of the screen. Yeah. So unambiguously in the middle of the screen there. And then and you're looking for when the tendons are at their brightest, just close to there. Yeah. And that's where you are resolving the nerve best. Now, when you talk about waggling, we're talking about this sort of nose down, nose down, nose up.
Yeah, you're doing a tail on a Labrador. Say that one more time.
Yeah. It's sort of the nose. You're flying an aeroplane.
Yes.
Along the track of the median nerve.
Yes.
And your nose is either going slightly down or slightly up.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So you're just flying your airplane along there, and you're slightly down, slightly up, and then, but you refine that as you see the optimum picture coming through, to make that movement smaller and smaller. So you're just adjusting it, and eventually you don't make any refinements at all. You're happy with the image, and you only then go and do that when you're just checking that you're seeing what you actually mean to be seeing. So there, it's degraded.
Is my wrist in extension at all? I mean, is it 45-degree extension?
No, I tend to go for reasonably flat.
Okay.
Because what you want is make it easy for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of smallest changes in direction of the nerve. And you see how it's quite difficult. You see the nerves going off to the side there. You see how
I've lost it there, John. Yeah. That's the problem, because I have to get up to here where it then mine ducks down under the flexor carpi radialis. I think I'm about on it. Yeah. And this is where I'm right over the pronator quadratus, I think, now.
But that's because you're not, because it's going to the side on the screen.
Oh, now, so you're saying I should be following it?
Yeah. So if you look at my probe on the screen now,
Yes, yes,
you turn it this way,
yes,
the nerves, my finger running
yes,
into the screen. If it's turning like that,
yes.
and you're moving
Yeah,
the probe like this,
yes,
that's what you do, and you get that degradation of image
yes,
as it
yes.
goes across the screen. If I get
So,
it really
so
close,
you're saying turn your screen and follow the sausage, Fritz.
yeah, exactly that.
Okay, all right. So I didn't know median nerve would become as much angled there. Let me come back to where I'm seeing.
As it goes through this, as it goes through the end, as it enters the carpal tunnel, it is like it's like in a dogfight with you. It's ducking and diving,
Oh,
and you'll see the pictures a lot better. So what you're doing, if I can go back to this
yes,
analogy here, I'll go
yes,
slightly like that,
yes,
is you go a lot, you're driving along and it's sitting roughly where it is, and you kind of go backwards and forwards to make sure it's staying in the middle. And
yes,
then when it turns the corner, you go forward a little bit, you come back to where it's good, because it looks rubbish. So you go back to where it's good, and then you turn the probe a little bit, and then you go forward again. And the actual process is like that.
yes. Okay,
Yep.
I got it.
And you just have to imagine I've got the cattle probe, and I'm every time the nerve moves. If you put your cursor back right in the middle of the screen, bang in the middle of the screen,
like here.
yeah, but do it at the top though. Leave it right at the top, just right at the top of the screen where it's not going to interfere with your picture. You can actually leave it slightly outside of the picture itself, just there. So you're defining the middle of the screen.
Yes.
With that. Now, when the nerve, it does not sit under there, you are not going in the right direction.
Okay. This is where I'm starting to back up and try to find your finger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have I not lost it though? There we go.
No, you haven't. You just, because it's diving down, you haven't made your compensatory change in angle in the other plane.
Right. So it should be as clearly fascicular as I have here.
Yes.
If I'm following it correctly.
Yes, plus or minus that. If you think about the edge of what would you say, flex carpi radialis,
right,
as it goes under the edge of it, there will be a little bit of artifact, but you should pretty much be able to get exactly the same quality picture with a couple of minor degradations from the fascial planes above it.
And I'm telling you, just the way that you bounced it on your finger, where you're coming down, and if I lose it, I'm backing up to where I still have it. Yep. This is a challenge for me, John, and the cattle prod is just really showing how yep. I thought I was good, and I'm not even remotely fair.
Well, it's everyone. You need to be. There needs to be an element of punishment. It's following. This is the same task essentially as following fetal spines, because they are curved in a plane you're not expecting. And so the guys, when they follow look at the fetal spine in short axis. This is exactly the same game that you play when you're learning to scan obstetrics.
Well, this is going to be a very, very valuable drill for me, John, because am I correct in saying that I am at least under my probe, the dark area between the FCR and the flexor tendons is the median nerve. It's an ovoid structure there.
And you're showing quite nicely. And because and at that point, they are, your best picture is where those tendons are at their brightest. And you should already be noticing that you're getting a better picture than you normally get in them of those tendons.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's because of the discipline of just looking for that bright picture and being absolutely short on it.
When you look at research and studies, and they're saying that they want to have the pisiform and the what is it, the other side at the inlet of the carpal tunnel, as we come down to here, they're wanting
you got the pisiform nicely on the right, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah, with the Guillon's triangle there, with the artery pulsing in it.
Yes.
Telling me you're pressing. Your hand's probably getting a bit tired because you're pressing quite hard.
Greg does that a lot, John. But he's learning. He's learning.
We all do. And your probe is that. I've quite liked having a little play with the Clarius. I think it's got real merit. But it is a heavy probe, and for the fine tuning, it's going to take your muscles a while to develop the motor skill and the stamina to do this.
You're throwing me a bone, buddy. I'll take it. I'll take it.
It is. It's a difficult. Your muscles will have to work in different way, particularly if you're doing all this with your fingers, which you should be. All this alteration should be done with your. Ideally, and with the Clarius, I did end up using two hands sometimes when I was scanning.
Okay.
But your fingers are supporting. Are holding that, and the probe is being suspended, really with 2-3 fingers maximum, and the rest of the stability there.
I'm very close to emulating the way you're doing it. It's just you're holding it on the neck, on the lateral. And I have it where I'm holding it, pinching it the smaller end.
You're holding it like this.
Yeah. Only because right now at the wrist, it's very, very difficult for me to approach it differently than that. But I guess what I'm going to say here before I wind this down is that I'm going to play with this point right here, John, where I go from where it is able to be refined or optimized in the same plane as the flexor tendons, but when it goes under the FCR, I'm failing to rotate it in the correct plane to allow that slice thickness to refine the fascicles, and I'm losing it. What you're saying is that that's something that I will be able to get if I literally follow that in the right plane.
If you've been on a roller coaster,
yeah,
the car follows the track.
I'm with you, buddy. Every time you say it, I'm going, I understand what you're saying. The problem is
there is a level of stamina in the hand and a motor training that just takes time to get.
But what I am understanding is that you're assuring me that it really is just disciplined motor skills as you regularly compare all of the dimensions of management of that slice, and you've got to alter it, and one of those dimensions shouldn't be changing as you're changing the others to bring that tendon all the way around where it should be.
Just certainly for the first few months, yes. What you will do is that when two need to change at the same time, you will get that, and it will happen, and you'll get that motor skill. But you should try very hard to refine one at a time to start with.
I honestly think I just threw it up to nobody can do that, and I'm thinking more and more now. My eyes are starting to see that I'm actually able to follow the actual fascicular short axis enough to be able to say, no, Greg, you really do have to stay attentive to this, even in those zones where you're going through a tunnel.
Yeah.
Huh.
And it's and particularly do not forget about, because the turning side to side gets really easy with practice. What you often miss is that when it turns to the side and dives down, you make one change.
Yes.
And you forget to make the other one.
Yes.
And it goes under something, and you get the diffraction artifact. So you lose the quality, and suddenly you think, oh, it's rubbish there. It's not rubbish there. It's still the same tendon with the same cross-sectional area, the same acoustic features. You just haven't taken into account all the other changes that are going on around it.
I think
by making all of those perfect, you may not get a perfect picture under those circumstances, but you, as often as not, you get a picture that is still credible and useful.
As perfect as you can get.
Yeah.
I think your analogy of the roller coaster is helpful, and I think that actually a video of that where somebody can overlay a plexiglass plane on one of the chairs and let it go through this, where it twirls as it goes down and around, a person could say, be that plane.
Yeah, because that is the only plane.
Yes.
That's the only one that's valid. Is that
it's forever it's forever changing and altering.
Yes, under those circumstances, and we will play with that. We will. I would, if the other ones I would suggest you having go at is, you can have a look at the radial artery as it flicks over the wrist. If you've got
that may be easier for me, the radial artery, only because it gives me a better line of demarcation, and
it's nice and black and white. In the calf, there are lots of good ones. But in lockdown, or when you haven't got a subject there, looking at the arteries in the gastrocs can be a nice thing to look at. And you can look at, you have to be gentle, but some of the veins are very nice to fiddle around. If someone's got some varicose veins, just
good and well, Fritz should be doing veins so that he doesn't collapse stuff, because he leans on things like his whole body weight's on it. I should be a vein looker.
You've got a heavy probe, and that's tricky.
Wow, John, have you any studies that you can show me, or
I'm trying to.
No worries if you don't.
I'm just trying to think. Sorry, it's. Let me have a look.
While you're doing that, since you're my source to understand statements that come out of your neck of the woods, we've been watching something out of London. It's some kind of I don't know what it's called, but for the second time on the show, they said, "Took my finger out." Or I had to take my finger out.
Oh, pull your finger out.
Yeah, what in the world? Because I'll tell you, John, a person's mind can go to some crazy places. I don't understand even what they're supposed to be meaning by that.
Well, if you're, I'm pretty sure in the context, it's just an expression. To pull your finger out is to stop messing around, and I think it refers to having your finger up your bottom. Pull it out and use it.
But why would there be one up there to begin with? It's hard for me to prove it.
I am not entirely sure. but I think that's where the expression comes.
Okay, so it's basically stay attentive and quit being distracted by your own self-pleasuring.
Well, I suspect that's what it comes from. It's if I was expecting something from you, if you were doing meant to be doing a presentation for me, and I asked you how you're getting on, and you said, I said, pull your finger out and get it done.
Oh, and that would be something that could even be discussed in a professional way, or would we be reasonably platonic for you to say, look, just pull your finger out? It means quit dilly-dallying around and get focused on the job.
That's really nice. Quick quit dilly-dallying around
Okay.
and get the job done. Yeah. And I'm
Uh,
not 100% sure where it comes from, but I think it's having, because sometimes people say he's got his thumb up his bum or something like that.
okay, now that
Yeah. He's
and that
not.
must be, but it was delivered in such short word bites that
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out what it meant. Anyway, that's helpful. Um, I need to know that we are capable of having you. If I went slow enough,
Yeah.
would you ultimately be able to help me do tasks that would be um, worth putting into a small video package, like finding, the way you found the distal biceps, or even some of the tracking of some unique pearls that you had. As of yet, I still think that your frame rate and the speed at which I'm imaging could be distracting to you. I want to make sure that your feed is as clear as it can be. It doesn't seem yet to be utility based, and I don't know how to refine that to you.
I think at the moment my best guess is that this is something to do with your the amount of traffic in your region.
If
Probably going through Zoom's servers, I suspect. That would be my best guess. It might be down to issues here, but actually our actual speed here is quite good. It is just the infrastructure is quite old in our street, and that's the limitation here, we think. So my signal drops, but it drops out and then works at full speed again. So for what we're doing, it isn't. I am not convinced that is the problem.
okay,
I could be wrong.
the feed that would get to any recorded image on the actual presentation end would
Yeah.
be at a good refresh rate. The sad part is that you're going to have to deal with a suboptimal scanner who's getting better, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Taking the finger out, apparently.
Yeah.
Anyway, and it would have to be a little bit of, sadly enough, it's going to be on your end to watch it. And if you just simply were to say, slow down and do that last one again for me, it would allow me to be able to understand that it's, and nobody minds watching the same thing again. Anyway.
I think that the job to do is to try it and see.
All right. What would you think, John? I would like to maybe have you say to me, hey, Greg, here are two things I'd like to have you. We'll start off with you just doing this the next session so that we have some substance. You can just tell me, hey, scan from this to this or scan this. We can then try the utility of you helping me refine that. And then we can start to say, all right, now this might build into a presentation ready. Let's knock out the arcuate ligament or something, not that fast, but I'm listening now.
Yeah, the ones we work on with students are the bits around the shoulder. The long-headed biceps is the classic, is the workhorse for all teaching. And
let's play with that then, John. And I know, I don't know if you've been watching, if you got invitations to Mark Schmitz. He's doing a 3-part, supposed to be advanced shoulder presentation. And it really would help me if we would say, let's just go through the scan from the pecs, like he's saying, and coming up, and this is what I do. Your pearls to me would be much more valuable than me sitting here, listening to stuff like that. I better let you go. What is it, 5 o'clock your time? Don't you have to go out there and
Feed children.
Also, I really do really appreciate you just going through images for me, even if it's an injection. I don't do injections, but it helps me understand what the fascial layer is, and it better helps me do all that. So if you can somehow amass stuff, they don't have to be wowy. Anything.
Be able to see my
Yeah.
and you want something with slightly larger plantar fasciitis. So we'll just have a quick look at the plantar fasciitis one. It's the image quality is not going to be amazing. This is me scanning the plantar fascia, and you can see the cursor all right on there. So
yeah.
I'm playing with the angle and trusting the image of the bone to tell me whether I'm actually in the right plane to see it. And it's coming down here. I'm looking at a thick.
You're trusting the plane of the bone. You're
Yes.
looking at the actual periosteal echoes. And what did it mean by trusting the plane of the bone?
Because the plane, when that's bright, then I'm likely to be that. I always tell my students, bone should be bright as a button and 1 pixel wide.
Oh.
Yeah, because if you think about it, if you go back to, and I sound like a one-trick pony here. If you look at the bone there, do you see how the return from the bone is quite wide?
Yes.
Yeah. If you think about slice thickness.
Yes.
Yeah. If you are at an angle to the bone, you know, if I'll just wait a second. I'll just see if I can get it. It's not letting me see. Yeah. Can I get my? I'm trying to get it so that I can see my own hands on the screen. But can you see my hand all right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So when you're on 90 degrees to the bone, your slice thickness is seeing the bone all at one level.
Yes.
Yeah. The sound comes down. We think we're in the thickness plane. My hand here, you see it. It's all at one level, so it only makes 1 pixel bright. If it's at this angle, then you get sound hitting this end and this end of the bone, and so that puts a bright return in 2 pixels, one on top of the other.
Man, this is, again, I know you say you're beating a horse, but man, I thought I had a better picture of it. Is the plane? Can you see me okay?
Yep, I can see you okay.
Is the plane that you're talking about? Am I looking at the line that is no? Am I doing this?
Wait a second.
Or am I doing this?
Sorry, show me that again.
That's okay. When you said that it all is on 1 pixel. But if I go like this, is this the orientation of the probe you're talking about, or is it like this?
No. Have you got the whiteboard up?
Yes, I do. I can see this just fine.
So you've got you're in the short. We're looking at that's your probe.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the slice thickness.
Yes.
Yeah. So your beam is coming down like this. Yeah.
Yes.
Pulse of sound, and it's you've got your little pulse going through, but it's actually that wide. Yeah.
Yes.
And it hits a bit of bone that is straight, and it bounces straight back.
Yes.
To the probe. Yeah. And so that gives you a bright dot on the screen there.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you're looking at a bone that's running along here, and so you get like on the heel. So you see the shape of the heel like that as a single bright line going like that, and the line is thin. If that's the case, if you are slightly at an angle, so the bone, instead of being in that plane, is in this plane. Yeah.
I'm with you.
Then what happens is that the sound hits there, and gives you a dot there.
Yes.
It hits there
Yes.
and gives you a dot.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
instead of the
Yes.
bone being thin on the picture, the bone is thicker
Yes.
and not as bright,
Okay.
because you get because there is the sound is bouncing
Yes.
slightly at an angle, so
Yes.
less of it comes back to the probe, and also it's shared between 2 pixels.
It
So
has to
you're
go more
losing.
to a grayscale than
Yeah.
than just white and black. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So if we go back to, if I stop sharing this, if I can figure out how to do that, stop sharing. This is hang on, close that. I close this, and then I go share screen. We go back to desktop 2, and we share. Are you back on the image?
Yes.
So this is not
You're getting good
necessarily
at this, Mr.
not
Leddy,
necessarily chosen, but so
Professor Leddy.
you're looking at the fascia, at the plantar fascia.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that, but I'm paying more attention to what the bone looks like, because that's telling me something about my picture quality. So as I come through, let me let's see. I'm going to look at something else there. So we'll come back to the start. So yeah, so where the bone is smudged, I'm not necessarily getting the best quality image here. This isn't a good example of it, but yes, I'm looking for that line to brighten up.
And you're doing what to the probe to make that line brighten up? Are you wagging it?
I'm pointing.
Are you toggling it? This is where Greg has the hardest time, John,
Yeah.
because I need to know whether or not you're doing this, like what I would say wagging the back of the dog, or are you toggling it like a light switch?
Yeah, the bone. Can you see my hand?
Yes, yes.
I can't. Can I see my hand
If you go to the top and it says speaker view at the very, very top, to the top right. Wait.
No, my screen's doing something odd,
right.
and I don't know why. If I go options, audio chat, allow. Yeah, it's not. It's made you a very, because I'm sharing. It's made you a very small box.
I can see you okay. You're a small box too, but I'll get really close.
Yeah. Right. So you're looking. You can see the heel.
Yes.
My hand is the bone of the heel.
Yes.
And what I'm doing is I've got the probe sat.
Yes.
On there in long axis.
Yes.
So the Achilles goes off somewhere here as my forearm. So you come around to the bone there. Now the tendon I want to see is the plantar fascia that comes off here. So I want to be in this plane.
Yes.
I'm not chasing the bone down here particularly.
Yes.
I'm not chasing the outline of the bone, but I do want to make sure that I am absolutely at 90 degree horizontal, that this surface of the bone here and here is horizontal compared to the probe, is flat.
Yes.
So if it was a gym, you have gym balls.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you imagine when you're scanning, I'm bouncing a small ball off the gym ball, and I want it to come back to my hand. What I'm trying to do is exactly the same with the probe there. I am trying to make it so that, because your calcaneus is round, is curved in that plane. So when you're in short axis, you see a curved surface. And so as I move across the heel, the calcaneus, I'm making an alteration in that plane. It's the girl from Ipanema. I take a step down the street, I turn slightly further.
Yes.
And I turn slightly further.
Yes.
But I know I've turned the right amount when the bone stays bright.
But you were just wow. You were following the bony contour.
Yeah.
With your probe and long axis on the plantar fascia, but you were altering the 90-degree plane of the probe by chasing the actual surface contact to be parallel with what you unbelievable, John. Yeah, man alive. I don't even care about that when I'm scanning
Yeah,
previously I don't, but I understand what you're saying.
you need to, but when you look at the plantar fascia in short axis and you just get that overview of this curve. Now,
Yes.
it doesn't have to be the surface of the bone,
Yeah.
because in actual fact, the nature of the plantar fascia means that the surface of the plantar fascia is a slightly different curve to the bone. So when you're looking for that interface between the plantar fascia and the fat pad, which is often how you just optimize the picture, that's a different curve, but it's the same process. And your bone is nice and bright, nice, easy target, and it gives you your first order of magnitude. It gives you your first approximation to what exactly the right angle is. And then when you get when you're having difficulty seeing the surface of the plantar fascia, which I certainly have problems with when I first put the probe on, you push like a demon, but you're looking at for that bright contour of the bone underneath. And then when you've got the surface, then you're doing exactly the same thing. You're optimizing the picture, but this time for the surface of the plantar fascia.
When you first started this image, you said, I was looking. I'm looking at the level, or I forget what you said. The plane of the bone. Yeah. Now you're doing that without an eye for pathology to the actual periosteum. You're doing that to refine your picture of the plantar fascia.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm listening now.
Yeah. So that's it. That's essentially what you're doing. You're looking at the periosteum, but and the cortex underneath it, but but actually the most important information it's giving you most of the time is actually what the true angle of the structure is, and you're judging that based on the thickness of the return from the periosteum.
When you're watching a Martinelli or a Bianchi or a Jacobson, are their bone planes universally paper thin, or does it look? What's that?
All of us are, but when you've been scanning this long and this much,
yes,
that's what you do. You do it without even thinking about it.
Wow. I don't know whether I have the brain power for this, John.
You do. It makes scanning so much easier. When they're your frames of reference, you will find your picture will be better.
Yeah, no, I can only take your word for it, because let me finish this video here, or is that all you were going to show me?
Well, let me just quickly check what's.
What is that thing on the bottom there? Is that like a anchor? Is that a? Oh no, that's your scapholunate.
That's a little. Okay. That's a short video through the scapholunate ligament. That's a little bit widened here.
Do you have them, do that make a fist and all that stuff, or are you just looking for ulnar and radial deviation and?
Yep. I do all sorts of shifts this way, shifts that way, but largely it's you see them move around a lot. That's a little bit widened, but it looks reasonably stable, and I don't think without looking at what the OA is. This is just arthritis. The ligament's intact, but yes, the ligament looks all right. It's just a bit untidy. But if you look here, another thing I always look at here is the thickness of the capsule at that point, because the capsule isn't particularly thickened at that point, but it's quite nice, because if the capsule is thickened, it's very obvious if you just look at the tendons here and then you look at the ligament of the scapholunate. It gives you a very first, just a quick appraisal of the thickness of the dorsal wrist capsule.
And the thicker the wrist capsule, the more it has had experience with inflammation and irritation, and therefore it's created a larger callus or a greater dimension of collagen.
Great dimension of collagen, or whether there's any sign of itis there.
Gotcha.
It's just a quick first look as you go over. Is that area swollen? And because you do, when you look at wrists, you do always look at this point. It's one of those nice, easy frames of reference.
Yeah. I'm hearing things in the background, John, and I don't want to wear out my welcome with not just you, but with your family. And
Yeah.
I'm not bothered by it, but I don't want to have you in the doghouse, nor do I want to be in one. So
well, we did that. It wouldn't do any harm at some stage when you've got a bit of spare time, and certainly while I've still got some spare time.
Yeah.
When I'm not back at work, we can just spend half an hour just looking at scans, if you like.
Let's do that. You pick the day, and I want to do just that. And maybe at the end, if I'm feeling up to it, the vulnerability of doing a chase of the Ipanema or whatever technique, I'd like to do that. You want to send me a text about what day is good for you as it develops, or would you like to pick one out and I'll send you an invite?
No, I will. We'll text, because we've got half term this week, and we will. And Christy and I are going to sit down and write a schedule for the children things, and what we're doing, and probably good. But it may well be if I was going to say a Thursday evening's not bad for us. It's just if you're wanting to stream video to me, that was problematic when we did it last time. So
I might still try it, but let's make a priority of me just sucking as many pearls from just random studies as I can at the next time. And right now, I'll tentatively guard my noon on Thursday, which is about 8 o'clock your time. And I'll if anything comes up, we can alter that as the week goes on.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Thanks, John. Have a good time with the family. Appreciate your help on this.
Enjoy your day.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.